Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to those who are joining us online. We're happy to have you here, and it's my pleasure to introduce our next presenters, and that's Pamela Barclay and Eduardo Hernández. And they are here from our Directorate of Standards and Guidance to talk about the Safe and Sound program and our HEAT initiative. So I'm going to hand it off to you guys.
Thank you, Frank. So the Safe and Sound campaign is a year-round campaign dedicated to advancing the implementation of safety and health programs in businesses across the nation. The goal is to get a safety and health program in every business that is operating. Really, the focus is on safety and health programs and how to get a proactive strategy to prevent injuries and illnesses before they occur. So the campaign is organized by 7 groups. You see them on the slide here. So it's AIHA, VPPPA, ASSP, OSHA, NSC, CPWR, and NIOSH. We have 232 partners. These organizations are primarily membership organizations who can sign on to be a partner for the campaign, and they receive information that they can use to promote to their stakeholders and members on how to implement safety and health programs in their businesses. And we have, throughout all of the activities we do through the campaign, about 134,000 participants annually. So again, the goal is that every workplace in America should have a safety and health program that includes at least 3 core elements. So this is management leadership, strong worker participation, and a systematic approach to find and fix hazards, again, before incidents occur. There's lots of approaches that exist for implementing safety and health programs. We are system agnostic. So if you want to use National Safety Council's program, great. If you want to use the ANSI or ISO standards, great. As long as it includes these 3 core elements, that's what we care about. And really the goal is to get businesses to take a step in the right direction, knowing that change takes time and is often incremental. So how do safety and health programs benefit organizations? There's many ways. So one, they can actually prevent injuries and illnesses. They can help improve compliance with laws and regulations. They can help reduce costs, including reductions in workers' compensation, for example. You can really work to engage your workforce because we know the workers are the ones who are really able to identify issues. And if they're able to communicate with you, then you can often resolve them before anything bad happens. You can enhance any social responsibility goals that you have as an organization, and you can actually increase productivity and increase business operations if safety is a value that you're touting throughout the organization. So the Safe and Sound campaign provides many resources to help you develop. We have tried to make sure that the information is concrete. So there's actions, there's specific activities that you can apply to actually take these incremental steps towards improvement. There's a couple of examples on the screen here. So we've got ways that you could take pledges and things to include in safety and health policies. We have worksheets to promote conversations amongst workers in your organization. And we also have, again, kind of broken down into easy steps that you can take to make change. We offer quarterly challenges. So these are very active moments in time that we issue activities that you can do with your workers. So they're rooted again in those 3 core elements. We do 1 each year on management leadership, 1 on worker participation, 1 on finding and fixing hazards. And the last one that we do is Safe and Sound Week, which happens in August every year. So what businesses do is they download the document to take the challenge, and we offer a virtual recognition packet, which includes virtual challenge coins and lots of graphics that you could use to promote that you're taking these challenges on. And then kind of our big event for the year is Safe and Sound Week. So this is a nationwide moment of action that businesses across the country recognize their safety and health successes throughout the year. Last year, we had about almost 4,000 businesses register to participate. You don't have to register. You can do this without saying you're going to do it. I mean, we encourage everyone to take that effort. This year, the focus area is going to be job hazard analysis. So we're going to really work in a detective style to identify hazards that are in jobs and functions in your organization. And registration will open in July. So come back, register your organization. You'll get lots of resources to be able to really work to implement job hazard analysis in the workplace. And then if you're not connected with us yet, you can always join our newsletter. It goes out once a month, so we're not going to be spamming you every week, but it goes out once a month, and we include new resources that are released, as well as opportunities to participate, like Safe and Sound Week or these challenges. And you can always send us an email, safeandsoundcampaign@dol.gov, and we're happy to speak one-on-one to anyone who needs some support. And that is the end of my portion, and I'm going to hand it over to Eduardo.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eduardo Hernández, and I'm a research health science specialist at OSHA, and I'm going to talk about OSHA's heat illness prevention campaign today. So just to give a little bit of context, we know that OSHA knows that workers are experiencing heat illness on the job, and some are even dying. We also know that based on the research, about three out of four of the deaths occur during that first week of work when it's hot. And if we look at data overall, we know that it's continuing to get hotter, and we also know that heat is the leading weather-related killer when we compare it to other things like tornadoes, etc. And so our campaign has a few goals, and the first one is really to think about ways that employers can continue to educate their workers on heat hazards, and we want to provide their resources for them to keep workers safe. The second is we sort of bucket our materials into one bucket that is about educating on heat exposure risks. So think about things that may make you more susceptible to heat illness. The next is on prevention actions. What can you do to prevent that from happening in the first place? And then our other bucket is first aid. What do you do when a heat emergency happens at work, and how do you respond? And we know time is of the essence when heat emergencies do happen. And our next, we also focus on educating workers and employers about their rights and any sort of whistleblower protections. And we ensure that our materials are plain language. So we don't want to use jargon. We want to use imagery as much as we can. And we also want to make sure that if a document is needed to be, if you need it to be in like 15 languages, we're going to try our best to get all those 15 languages for you. So a little bit of background, the OSHA's heat campaign actually is adopted from the California OSHA program campaign, and they're started in 2011. And so since then we adopted that program, and we have essentially expanded the scope. It used to really only focus on construction and agriculture, as we know that those are industries where workers are exposed to heat. And since then, we really tried to expand the messaging and go beyond water, rest, shade, and really just broaden it to apply to other industries that might also be indoors. So this slide here has a bit, just some examples of some of our campaign materials, but we really tried to create new fact sheets on various different industries and populations and groups. So for instance, last summer, we created a new resource for pregnant workers in heat. We created a new resource on different risk factors that might affect you if you have heat illness. We also have resources on if you work in confined spaces and might have heat present in the workplace that can affect you there. And we're also expanding our social media. So that includes things like making different graphics and just providing different methods to continue to educate workers. And we're trying in real time to respond to people who might be talking about heat as an issue in their workplace. And again, as I mentioned, we're making sure that we're translating our materials, and everything on the heat pages are in at least English and Spanish at the moment. And we also know that, people have created materials in the past, so we're focusing on updating outdated materials at the moment. So, and then just quickly, here are 3 examples of some of the types of materials we have. In the top right, I think it's your right, you can see our urine chart that we made. So this was just a fun way to, you can print it out, put it in the bathrooms, and hopefully it's a cue to action to encourage a worker to remember to hydrate and to stay hydrated. And then the one on the bottom right, the one that says work safely in heat, this is just an example of one of our resources that's essentially kind of like a graphic fact sheet. So we try to really, this is just one page of it, but it really just takes out all the words and you kind of see images, again, to reach that population that might not be as literate. And then the one that says heat emergency signs, this is a one side of our wallet card that we just made. So we're hoping that employers can print this, put this in ID cards and things like that. So this side focuses on the different symptoms that someone might experience. It also highlights the different steps that someone can take when the emergency happens. And on the back side, you have your company's name and address. So you can fill that in and you know where you're at. And, in emergencies, people might sort of forget those basic details. So it was a way for us to think about how to make sure that people who were dealing with heat emergencies know what to do. And we also have a heat newsletter that is that is solely heat content. We also send it out at most once a month. And at the moment, we have about 32,000 people subscribed to the heat newsletter. But this really will update you about events that we're doing, if we're doing any sort of like contests, challenges, any sort of new materials that come out of our office, or if there's any new research that we want the public to know, you can sign up for this newsletter and find out more about it. And so our website is osha.gov/heat. And if you have any ideas, if you know a language that you might need for your work, you can reach out to us at heatcampaign@dol.gov. And that is all.